Welcome, guys, to the very first Coffee with a Coach episode. Episode number 1. And I have a really good friend here, Mark Spewak. He owns Spewak Training, and he is a running coach. Mark, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate being here. Love this space, love you, man. So thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Tell me, how long has Spewak Training been around?
Yeah, so I've been coaching for 7 years, and Spewak Training's been around for 4.5 years, so almost about 5 years this fall.
Fantastic. That's crazy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild because a lot of the people that I work with are affiliated with me from several different years, and so like somebody like you, I came in contact with your dad before I came in contact with you, but our networks were all the same, and now I'm working with you. So it's cool how everything's kind of come full circle.
And I think that's a running community in St. Louis, right?
Absolutely.
And maybe other cities too, but it's just like the network that it builds.
Definitely. You're always 1 degree away from somebody.
I'm going to jump in a few questions here, and I have my phone here to help me stay on track. That way I don't get distracted. First of all, one question that I get asked by my patients all the time is, who could benefit from a running coach? And they always feel like you need to be fast or fit to work with a running coach.
Yeah.
Can you break that question down and tell me if it's true or not?
Yeah, no, that's definitely a great question, because a lot of times when people contact me, they're intimidated because they see maybe our results online, or they have a friend that works with me and they consider them fast. And they're like, there's no way that I would actually benefit from working from you. Like, I've had people come up to me at road races and they're like, I'm a few years away from being able to work with somebody like you.
Yeah.
And the reality is that most people that work with me come to me when they're in those people's shoes, and then they get better with the progress and the consistent effort. So I really think the target market for a running coach, honestly, is the everyday person. Is somebody's getting out there and doing races and are consistently running. Think of it like this, you play another sport, or you're even just seeing your sports chiro or things like that. You just want to have the right resources in your corner to keep you healthy and to do it. And so, yeah, this may be our hobby, but this is also exercise. Yeah. And exercise is so important for us. And if we want to live a long, healthy, happy life, we've got to do it in the right manner. And so a running coach can come in there. They can create you a customized training plan that's fit for you specifically, not some cookie cutter thing that you're just going to follow. And it's going to guide you in the direction that you want to go in. So some of my athletes, their goals are to run the Boston Marathon. Other athletes are like, hey, Mark, can you motivate me to run 3 days a week? And all I want to do is run 3 days a week, and I want to be able to get up and play with my grandchildren. Yeah. And that's in my opinion, that goal is just as valuable as somebody that's trying to qualify for Boston. So to answer your question, I think just really anybody that is seeking to get better, to stay healthy, and do this for a really long time. And then also the motivation component, I think, is a big part. Having a coach is going to hopefully make the experience better for you. But you definitely don't have to be an elite athlete to do it. And I think the benefits are the same for the elites and the everyday folks. They're essentially it's we all need comforting, we all need needs, we all need confidence.
Yeah. And Mark's my coach, and he has been for 2 years, and there's plenty of times he's kind of had to help me get back on the horse. You fall off, and that's what the accountability part is definitely important. And in there you talked a little bit about, which I'm going to segue into probably our second question here, is the everyday person, right? We're sitting so far apart in this interview due to COVID, right? And so many people are going from the couch to the trail, or the couch to the track, or the couch to the subdivision, the sidewalk, etc. People are getting up, they are moving more than probably ever that I can think of. But how do people do that safely in a structure, right? We can't take somebody from the couch and all of a sudden they want to run 5 miles every single day because they have the time. There needs to be a structure to that, right? What's your thoughts on how does the layperson go from couch to trail safely?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you saw this when COVID first started. It was, you go into the park, you see people you've never seen before. Because we're so used to being out here, and we see the same folks. And so many new people are out there moving, and I think that's amazing, because the more people that are running, the better. It's better for our community, it's better for your health. But I think the one thing, and I don't fault anybody for this, because if you don't have the guidance, if you were somebody that went to the gym and you did some cardio, but or specifically doing strength training, I have a lot of friends that were like this, and now they're like, oh, I don't have anything to do, so I'm gonna start running. They're going to think of it in the same terms as maybe how they think of their strength training. So every single day I'm going 100%. I'm just going to crush myself. I need to sweat. I need to breathe heavy. And within a couple of weeks, we saw a lot of injuries go up. I'm sure you saw that come into your office. And so I think the most important thing anybody can think of is less is more. So if you're trying to consistently run for a really long time and to progress at the same time, and we all are guilty of this, but you cannot be impatient. You have to be able to say to yourself, this is a process, and even if I want to do 6 today and the schedule says 4, I'm better off doing that 4 miles so that I can come back the next day or the day after and be able to hit the goal of running more. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people in running tend to make the mistake of, is that they feel good, they try to take advantage of that, they get on a hot streak, and then boom, it's inevitable, something pops up.
And running on, so like you said, people want to go 100% when they first start running. How do you talk to them about like perceived exhaustion, right? How do we pull that back in to know that when you finish your run, you should not be gassed every single day, that you should feel like you can do more, which will then hopefully help you run the next day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that the goal?
Yeah, definitely. And so like, even if you're not looking to get a running coach and you're just a client of, Dr. Brennan here, and you're just looking to do this in a healthier, happier manner, think of your schedule like this. One day maybe you push it a little bit harder, so that's a day where you would integrate some type of speed work into that session, or you just run a little bit faster. We call that like an up-tempo run. Okay. And then the rest of your runs, you want to be running like more of a conversation pace. So going out and running at a pace that you feel like you could hold conversation with, you could talk at. A really good method that I could share with anybody is to start off your runs a little bit slower on all of your runs and get faster as they go. And so if you start off really, really fast, what's going to happen? Inevitably you're going to blow the steam really early, and you're not going to have the energy to hit the longer. And if you're trying to get stronger in this sport, you've got to run more minutes, you got to run more miles. So for anybody, I really just kind of say, focus on just really listening to your body. That pace is so dependent on the weather, it's so dependent on your goals, it's so dependent on the time of the cycle that you're in. So many things I think come into factors with it, but to answer your question, I think this is the most important thing anybody can do, is just really go off of a conversation pace and feel relaxed. It's one of the sports that you get better, where a coach tells you one day to run 75% and another day to do it 90%. Yeah. The only day you're really going 100% is race day. And I think that's so unique, because if you play any other sports, a 90% might be your walkthrough the day before. Yeah,
that's a good point. And how are you keeping people motivated right now?
Yeah.
What's driving people? Everybody was giddy at the beginning, and now I know I'm seeing a lot of people saying, yeah, I've completely fallen off my fitness again. I'm back on the couch. What's your driving force here?
No, absolutely. I think everybody's going through it. I think, myself as an athlete is going through it. My athletes have struggled with it, and it's the heat of summer. So in St. Louis, when it gets really hot and humid, it's already easy to be unmotivated if there's nothing to train for. I mean, you saw that. You have a specific goal, and then that gets taken away from you. It's like, well, what's the point? And so from what I'm looking at, is running is so much more than just racing. It's about your health, it's about your fitness. There's so many goals within yourself that have nothing to do with time. They have nothing to do with distance. We call these process goals. So for somebody that might be, I want to consistently run 5 days a week, and I want to feel good about myself. And so how do you get there? And so having goals for a lot of people, I'm trying to suggest, that aren't necessarily about running a PR or about having to go run the Boston Marathon. Think of things that are unique. So for some athletes, it's like, I've never had the opportunity to run a downhill mile, or I want to do a donut mile, or some things.
Can't wait for that one, by the way. We have that one coming up.
Yeah, so my approach from a running coach and from a team perspective, and this is the value in being a part of a club, is that we're in this together. So we've really worked on trying to create experiences for my athletes that is making the best of the situation. So virtual events is not ideal, but it's the best thing that we have. And at the end of the day, I can tell you, because we just finished up our virtual racing series, which you participated in, and I can tell you there were very few people in the last few months that were doing time trials, but our group was doing time trials. And this fall, when these races, get going again in the spring and all those different things, our team is going to be fit, and they're going to get faster and faster and faster because they put the work in. So if you're struggling with motivation, think about, what's your long-term goal? Why are you out here in the first place? What is your why? If you can think about your why and really build into that, you're going to get your butt out the door when there's nothing else there. And lean on the people around you. I think that's the big thing. Motivation from just camaraderie with your peers. Just because you can't train with them in person doesn't mean you can't have a Facebook group with them, or you can't do Strava with them, or you can't have some type of incentives to like a step challenge or things like that.
And from personal experience, I know, yes, the races are devastating, right? Races are fun. That's what we want to do. But taking that step back to figure out that why, I had to do that on my own. And it takes out that sadness or that disappointment, you know, and you get fired back up and you're like, there's more to why I'm doing fitness than just crossing the finish line. It's helping me in life, it's helping me in business, and it's keeping me healthy, right? You know, so there's many different factors that go into that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a good point. My cousin always says this, and it says if you have your best year of fitness, you're gonna have your best year professionally. And there's such there's such a correlation there. So if anything, if races have been taken away from you, and like for myself, it's easy just to feel kind of anxious or depressed with the state that we're living in, then let your goals of fitness kind of carry you, so you have something in your life that's keeping that spark going.
Right. Cool. So, Mark, man, I appreciate you being
thanks,
here.
Dan.
Where do people find you?
Yeah, you can find us on social media. So Spewak Training, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, soon to be TikTok maybe, you never know. Yeah, we have a website, so it's tons of
branching
fun.
out. Huh?
A lot of the high school kids and middle schoolers I coach have given me a lot of trouble. They're saying, my dance moves aren't very good, so I got to jump on there and show them what's up.
That's great. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our very first Coffee with the Coach, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. I
Cool.
appreciate
Thanks.
it.